Lamar Alexander calls this Obamacare 2. Mitch McConnell said, quote, they broke the rules, a sad day in the history of the U.S. Senate. More reaction now. South Dakota Senator John Thune, chairman of the Republican Conference. And Senator, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Bill.
What does this mean?
It's a game changer in terms of the Senate. This is something that it is a raw power grab by the Democrats. They broke the rules to change the rules when it comes to judicial nominations and to executive branch nominations. It is unprecedented. You heard Lamar Alexander, my colleague there, describe it as something that's literally changed rules that have been in place since Thomas Jefferson wrote the rules. And so, you know, it just gets weirder around here by the day. But simply, in simple terms, it is another attempt by the Democrats to end run the rules to get what they want.
And Senator, what about Harry Reid's rationale for doing this, which was that President Obama deserves an up or down vote on his team, on his judicial and executive nominees, and that filibusters were going to get in the way of that, so they had to use this nuclear option?
They didn't have to do that at all. They've gotten, as was pointed out, there have been 215 judges confirmed. Two have been rejected for this president. And this was something the Democrats started years ago. They started blocking circuit court nominees when George Bush was in the White House and he was sending up judges to get confirmed by the Senate. It's a practice that they started a long time ago. There is no evidence whatsoever that this was necessary. If you look at the numbers that we processed, we're ahead of where we were with regard to Bush's nominees in the last presidential administration. And as I said, 215 confirmed, 2 rejected.
If I could, big picture here. Mitch McConnell said late this morning that he will guarantee that if the majority in the Senate flips in the next election, it will no longer just be a nuclear option regarding nominees at the judicial post. It'll be on legislation as well, suggesting that is a dangerous Democratic game to play when it comes to the U.S. Senate. Did you hear him say that in your reaction to that now?
Well, I didn't hear Mitch say that specifically, but I will say this, Bill. They are playing with fire because what goes around comes around, and obviously this is a precedent-setting move by them. I would hope that it never applies to legislation.
Would you agree with Senator McConnell then that it will apply to legislation in a new Congress?
I don't think we want to speculate about what might happen in the next Congress. We hope the Republicans control the majority in the next Congress, and then we will have a debate about the rules and what those rules ought to look like. But I think at this point in time, what we simply want to point out is that the Democrats are attempting, just like they did with Obamacare, to run roughshod over the rules to get what they want to get done. It is a raw power grab, and it is an example, I think, of what the American people are disgusted with and sick with in Washington. And Obamacare was probably the best example of that. As you heard Lamar Alexander describe it, this essentially is Obamacare 2.
So where do you go from here, Senator? I mean, Mitch McConnell just said this is a sad day in the history of the Senate. What do you all do tomorrow?
Well, we're on the defense authorization bill, and again, the Democrats, Senator Reid is what they call filling the tree. It's a procedure by which they block Republican amendments, and so this isn't limited to just judges. This is the pattern that we've gotten accustomed to around here. He doesn't want to expose his members to tough votes, and he's got a lot of people that are running for cover on his side because they voted, many of them cast the deciding vote, the 60th vote, for Obamacare. And so they don't want to make tough votes. And I think that we're going to continue to see more of this from the Democrat majority. We're going to do everything we can to see that we get our votes and that we get an opportunity to have our voices heard in the political process, which is what the American people expect.
Senator, thank you. John Thune with us from the Hill there. We're waiting for reaction from Harry Reid. Thank you, Senator. When that happens, we'll bring it to you. We expect him at the microphone any moment.